Hi there, this is Samantha Miller, Miss Miller, the choir teacher at Manor New Tech Middle School. This is all information for parents that is generally shared at our fall choir parent meeting. This informational video does not have any specific dates included as a part of it, but all dates can be found on the choir website, through Charms, and also on my page on the Manor Middle School website. So I encourage you to look for specific dates there. This is an overview of everything in our handbook. We're going to go through these things quickly. I'm going to point out the most important bits for you as well. The full handbook can be found on our choir website, as well as hard copies are available in the choir room throughout the year. So, one of the most important things and coolest things that we have access to as a choir department is the Charms online system. And here you can access your scholar's financial statement. You can see our choir calendar. You can see all of their uniform items and the barcodes that are associated with your scholar. You can also listen to any recordings that they may have made in class and see their grade and my comments on those recordings. You log in using your scholar's ID number. It will prompt you to change their password. It's up to you whether or not you choose to do that. And if you ever forget their password, you can send me an email and I can reset it to their ID number at any time. On this page, I'm not going to click on anything specifically because I don't want to show anybody's personal information, but I can click on the calendar. There's an up-to-date calendar. I keep it up to date. If things change, I update it here first so that it syncs to all of our other pages. There's also a place to sign up to volunteer for events. You can click here to see what forms you have been collected and what forms might be missing for your scholar. You can click here to print a copy of your financial statement. It not only tells you how much money I've collected from you, but also what all of that money is going towards, and any money that might still be owed and what that money is for as well. In the recording studio is where you can see recordings that your scholars may have submitted in class. They can also submit recordings at home using the recording studio here and the accompaniment button, which especially for our 7th and 8th grade choirs always has accompaniments for them to submit to me of the music that we're working on if they need help or if they want comments on their individual progress. So yeah, it's a really great system. I love it completely. The rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. It should look very similar on a cell phone as it does here on the computer. So dress rehearsals and concerts, everything that we do in class is performance-based, is gearing us towards our next performance or competition. So it would be like missing a major test in another class to miss a concert day, except you can't make it up in the same way that you can make up a test. For a concert, I can't recreate that feeling of being on a stage with your choir and with a full audience there singing in front of people. It's just not an experience that can be recreated. So we do take that attendance very seriously. Obviously, sometimes there might be an emergency, and in that case, parent communication is everything. If you're looking through the dates for this year and you see anything that you already anticipate might be a conflict, let me know as soon as possible, because often when I know in advance, I can find another performance opportunity that could be comparable for your scholar instead of the concert, and that's a lot easier and also a lot more enjoyable than doing something like writing a paper or just performing it for me by themselves. It's just better all around. So communication is everything. The more I hear from parents, the better we can serve your scholars together. A big thing that you should absolutely do is sync your personal calendar to the choir calendar. This syncs to the Charms calendar, as I said, and it will automatically update in your phone anytime that I make changes. So that way you have the most up-to-date calendar in your phone at all times. So there is a calendar sync link on our website as well as in this PowerPoint, and you can also email me for that information at any time as well. This is pretty general stuff. As I tell the kids, I have I have very high expectations for the kids, but also I find that they live up to them when you believe in them, and I do believe in them. So in our choir room, generally most things are solved with a conversation. We try to talk and understand each other and respect each other, from scholar to facilitator and so forth. And but if there were something that is not getting solved with conversations, and if we're needing to call in backup resources, you might hear from me. I might talk to them with a counselor or something in that vein. But generally, we don't have a whole lot of problems in the Gladiator Choir program, and we're gonna work to keep it that way. So hopefully, you won't be hearing from me about behavior things, and it'll be great. One thing to note is that if there is a break of trust, or if I worry about the safety of your student or another student on a trip or a social event, they might not be invited to something like that if the behavior issues are concerning and from a safety perspective. However, you would hear from me about that long before it was a done deal. Parent volunteers. Oh my goodness. Our program could not run without all of the help of our wonderful, wonderful choir parents. If you ever plan to chaperone, that is, go on a trip with us or stay for our lock-in or an open gym night or something as a parent chaperone, it is required that you do a Manor ISD volunteer form, unless you are already a Manor ISD employee. So the volunteer form is on the Manor website. You can find it by Googling Manor ISD volunteer. You will find this page. And then you just fill out this background check, and it's great. They'll send you an email confirmation within about 48 hours. So, and that does need to be on file before you come on campus. And it is also recommended that you bring your confirmation email with you when you come to campus. In addition, if you're not the chaperone type parent, we also can make use of many donations throughout the year. For our choir lock-in, we provide barbecue, chicken ribs, sausage for the kids, and we make plenty. But it's always good to break it up with some side dishes. The kids love desserts, soda, cases of water, snack foods, so on and so forth. We also have a video game room at our lock-in, and in order to run a video game room, we do need video game systems. That room is manned by adults all evening long, so your systems will be under close watch. We have not had any issues here at New Tech Middle School in terms of the video game systems in our game room, and we definitely hope to keep it that way, and we plan to keep it that way with wonderful parent chaperones as well. For our Be Our Guest show at the end of the year for 7th and 8th graders, we are looking for donations of dessert items, homemade or baker or purchased are fine. If you're not a baker, those little brownie bites, those go a long way. They're delicious. Or like a tin of muffins or cookies, anything. If you are a baker, we also appreciate your talents and your gifts, and we promise we aren't going to hoard them. We will serve them. And we also make cold brew tea for this event, so little cold brew tea bags would be helpful donations as well. We're always trying to take our Be Our Guest show to the next level, so if you have access to things like chair covers or table runners or anything like that you might know somebody, or you have a whole bunch in storage somewhere or something like that, let me know. Anything we can do to level up, we are very interested in doing that. Other ways that I can use volunteer help: every year the uniforms need to be washed. I do haul them home and I wash them myself, but I'm always interested in having help with that. I can send home a bag of shirts or dresses with your kiddos, and you can send them back to me, and that would be immensely helpful. Also, ironing our formals for competition and Be Our Guest, especially for our gentlemen. They look so sharp in those ironed tuxes. And then hemming dresses. We have new girls every year, and we want to make sure their dresses are not dragging on the floor. Sewing is not my personal gift, so if you or someone you know is willing to help with that, hemming or serging, if you have those items and the talents and the time, we would appreciate that so much. For 7th and 8th grade, their eligibility is required for certain competitions throughout the year and concerts, UIL, solo, and ensemble contests. They must be academically eligible, as well as region choir auditions, UIL concert and sight reading, and for Be Our Guest, our end of year show. And eligibility means that they have a 70 or above on the most recent report card or progress report in every class. So our goal is obviously to have our scholars passing with a 70 or above all of their classes all of the time. So if we keep that as an expectation for everyone and we keep striving towards that and achieving that, we shouldn't have any issues here. I do mention this only because if we are prepping in class solely for one of these events and your scholar is not eligible for that event, they might see themselves doing alternate assignments in choir other than performing with their group, just because their group has to get used to what it's going to feel like when they are missing that group member. I do always mention this about sacred music. The choral music traditions stem from the church. The oldest choir music back in the history, Gregorian, all the way back to Gregorian chant. This is all music that is religious music, and it is very difficult to have a complete choral education while avoiding all of sacred music. There will be times that your scholars will encounter religious texts in my class. I do want you to know that we do not preach. We do not tell them what to believe. We do not ask them to change what they believe. And generally, we just talk about the history of the piece and the history of the composer, not necessarily the weight of the religious piece of it. We look at it as a cultural thing, not necessarily as a religious thing. If your family or your scholar has an issue with performing religious music, or if there's some kind of personal belief there that is a problem, the sooner you let me know, the better I can serve all of our scholars. There are times that I cannot avoid sacred music. There are times that the music that we are singing is not selected by me. It's selected by the people that we are, by the competition that we're attending, or it's selected from a list of music that we have to select from for competition. This is mostly has to do with rules that are outside my control. So again, the more that I know, the more communication I get, the better I can serve everyone. These are the Manor New Tech, or the New Tech learning outcomes and the percentages that we use campus-wide. This is a general overview, but what I'm going to talk about is what this looks like in choir. So in choir, the written communication grade reflects how well they write about music and whether or not they know how to mark their music. This comes from any written assignments that they do, and we hold them to a high standard in terms of using correct terminology and just being really thoughtful about what they have to say. So collaboration, they're obviously in constant collaboration in choir, working together. Everybody impacts the whole. And so the collaboration grade reflects how well they work together and how much they positively contribute to the choir as a whole. Agency is taking personal ownership of learning. So are they leaders? Is their effort really showing forth? Are they taking charge? Are they giving 100% or whatever their 100% looks like that day? Mostly the agency grade does it look like they're giving their best? And do I believe they're giving their best? Knowledge and thinking is where we see the mastery of their choir skills vocally, in terms of music literacy, in terms of music theory. So their knowledge and thinking score should reflect what they've displayed in terms of what they know. And oral communication is about when they're talking about music. Again, this has to do with using proper terminology and being thoughtful about what we're working on and what we're working toward. Uniforms throughout the year. So we have a casual uniform and a formal uniform. Casual uniform is generally used for the fall concert and for community performances. It is their choir shirt, which will be provided, and blue jeans with no rips, tears, holes, patches, or bleaching. We like them to be solid blue. We want them to look somewhat uniform, and then tennis shoes along with that, or comfortable shoes, things like Sperry's work. The formal uniform for 6th grade, it is a white polo, just like their white uniform polo, so hopefully they own one of those already. Black slacks or a black skirt, again, those are part of 6th grade uniform, so hopefully they own one of those already, and 100% black shoes. It is okay if those black shoes are tennis shoes for 6th grade, but they do need to be 100% black. No white markings on them, no white soles. It's just from a visual perspective, when you're looking at them on a stage, those little specks of white on the shoes or a color on the shoes really stand out to an audience. And we don't want to have any distractions from their lovely singing. For 7th and 8th grade women, they are issued a black choir dress. All they need to provide are the dress flats to go with it. We do ask that they don't wear heels because that affects our hemming process. So we're looking for black dress flats. You can find them at Walmart for $5 to $10 a pair. If you are struggling to get dress flats, let me know and I can see what I can do. I know that I personally own 3 pairs, so if they wear my size, they're more than welcome to borrow mine if they're comfortable with that. For our 7th and 8th grade gentlemen, we have a choir issued vest, a tuxedo shirt, tuxedo pants, and a bow tie. We need a lot of responsibility from our 7th and 8th grade gentlemen to hang on to all pieces of their uniform throughout the year. Each of these formal uniforms, the dress and the tuxedo, are worth about $65. So we do hope and always plan to get all of those items back by the end of the school year. So please make an effort to hang on to those wherever you're keeping them. For the gentlemen, we also need black dress shoes. For 7th and 8th grade, we cannot allow them to wear tennis shoes. It just doesn't go with the tuxedo, doesn't go with the dress. So if you could make an effort to either find black dress shoes, or if you happen to have black dress shoes at home that your child has grown out of, we will accept them as a donation. If you are having trouble finding shoes, please let me know. I will try and hunt some down for you. I'm happy to help in that regard. So communication is everything. I'm going to say that over and over. We do have several field trips and social events throughout the year. We attend a handful of operas every school year. The 7th and 8th graders go to Six Flags. The 6th graders go to Austin Park and Pizza. We have an all-night lock-in. We have open gym nights in the spring and a variety of other things that come along. In order to attend these, we have to have all of our choir forms turned in. Our handbook forms are a one-stop shop in terms of travel. This keeps you from having to fill out a separate form every time we're going to go somewhere, because we go places a lot of the time. So making sure that we have that and it's correct and it's on file is very important as soon as you are able. We also do require that they have a passing grade in choir in order to attend social events and things like that. That's at my discretion, but for the most part, they need to be showing effort in class. It's a work hard, play hard idea, which I know that we can all get behind. And they have to display appropriate behavior, respect, and attention both in my class and other campus areas. There could potentially be a situation where we might have a trip coming up or a social event coming up, and a scholar gets into trouble in one of their other classes, and it gets to a point where administrators are getting involved. And if the administrators decide that not attendance at one of the choir social events or trips is something that could be utilized as a consequence, if that's something that is at that point out of my hands. So we do ask that our choir scholars represent themselves, their family, and their choir well everywhere that they go at all times. Choir dues, $35 covers their shirt, and we feed them pizza at all of their required concerts. It also pays for barbecue at our choir lock-in. I try to keep those fees as low as possible, but I feel, and I also try to make sure that you feel like you're getting your money's worth. We try to get them nice shirts that they enjoy and will wear for a long time. We try to get them good food, especially at that lock-in. That barbecue is high quality, y'all, high quality. It does not need to be paid all at once. It can be paid in payments. We generally say $10 at the fall, winter, and spring concerts, and then $5 by the end of year concert, or whatever works for you. We try to be flexible. Our Be Our Guest show allows us to be flexible with the payment time of the choir dues. But since the general understanding is we make sure that all kids are taken care of. We're not standing at a concert with the pizza going, have you paid? Have you paid? We're not doing that. We're making sure the kids get fed. We're making sure the kids have their shirts. And so it would be wonderful if you could help us make sure that we are also feeding back into that as well. Additional optional fees if your scholars are going on our big major trips. Sixth grade trip to Austin Park and Pizza is an additional $25. Seventh and eighth grade trip to Six Flags is an additional $65. If you have a season pass, it's an additional $35 instead of $65. So that's a $30 discount for season pass holders. However, if your scholar forgets their season pass and does not have it in hand upon arrival at Six Flags, we will ask you to pay that extra $30 back to cover the cost of the ticket that we will have to buy for them. So please do make an effort to have that season pass with you if you choose the season pass price. Our major fundraiser, our only fundraiser, is Be Our Guest. It's my philosophy that, not everyone loves walking around selling chocolate bars or cookie dough or whatever the case may be. And it's not a lot of people love buying it. They're like, oh, I don't know if I really need this, but I want to do it to support you. Our belief here at New Tech Middle School is that our kids have a product that is wonderful and worth paying for. Our Be Our Guest is a concert, but it's really much more than a concert. It's a full experience. We have tablecloths and centerpieces and reserved seating at the evening show, as well as VIP reserved seating for both shows. We have a multitude of musical genres. We have a live band. There's costume changes. There's dancing. There's humor. It's an event. So we charge $5 to sit on the ground floor and $15 to sit on the second floor, which is kind of looking over the stage. This money pays for the show band and covers any other show expenses, and the rest of the money goes into the choir account to start us off solidly for the following year. It's a long-term goal to be raising enough money for this show to ultimately cover the cost of Six Flags. So our hope is to work in that direction. Also, as a part of your ticket price, you get your choice of tea or water and your choice of dessert. Our choir lock-in. This is like the social event of the season. I will tell you, of the school year even. So we stay at the school for an extended period of time into the late evening. We have barbecue and other donated food items. We have dessert. We have soda. We have open gym. We have a mandatory dance party where everybody gets together and we do all of our favorite line dances as a choir family. It's adorable. I love it. We play video games. We have karaoke. We sometimes end up with like Twister or Magic the Gathering, card games. It's an absolute blast. The kids love it. And we do not allow cell phones at this event. So this is a big thing for the kids to get real life FaceTime with their choir family. In order to make this event a success, we do need chaperones, parent involvement, parent supervision is key. So there are chaperone blocks of time to either show up for a couple hours if that's all you can handle, or there's the ability to sign up for the whole night if you'd like. We also have sign-ups to bring desserts, side dishes, snack items, and whatever else we feel might be needed. So that your help with those donations or as a chaperone would be greatly appreciated. In the fall, our 7th and 8th graders have the opportunity to audition for the Region 26 All-Region Choir. This is a competition that puts them individually against other singers in the entire central Texas area, including Round Rock, Georgetown, Pflugerville, Hutto, Manor, and all the other small surrounding districts as well. It's a required competition for all kids in our advanced classes. That's our varsity and advanced classes. And it's optional to any 7th and 8th grader. We have a float party with ice cream floats and some really, really good practice the Thursday before Region Choir auditions. And then on the Saturday of choir auditions, we have the option of the scholars have an option of taking the bus with us, or you can drop them off at the audition site, which changes every year. Detailed information and dates for this, again, are on the choir website and our calendars as well. Sixth grade choir day out usually happens in late September, early October. It will be on a Saturday. They do not miss school for this event. And the bus will leave New Tech Middle School at 9:30 and return at 3:30. The $25 price covers all you can eat pizza, pasta, salad, dessert, and soft drinks. It also includes unlimited attractions like laser tag, go-karts, all the little rides, the little water boats where they like to shoot each other, mini golf. It's a blast. The $25 does not include bowling or arcade games. So if your scholar would like to bring a little bit of extra money to do those things, they are more than welcome to. We will be back at New Tech Middle School by 3:30 p.m. on the day that we go. Getting a hold of me, I strongly recommend email. I'm pretty quick to respond to emails. If I get it while I'm sitting at my computer and my email is up, you will get an instantaneous response unless it's something that I need to go research or ask some questions about first. So I highly, highly recommend email as a way to get information from me. If you call the school or call up to me, I do my best to keep up with my phone calls and my voicemails, but it's much more efficient to email me, I promise. However, if you really need to speak to me either in person or over the phone, you can use the scheduling link that again is on the choir website. It's on my page on the school website. You can sign up for a parent-teacher check-in to come in and see me in person. You can also, or you can sign up for a parent phone conference. You just select the date and the time that you want me to call you, and I promise you your phone will ring at that time. All of the times that are available on here for voice coachings for kids or for tutorials for kids, if the time is there, that means that I will make myself available. This, when someone signs up, whether it's parent or a scholar, it shows up on my personal calendar, it shows up on my phone, it shows up on my watch, and I will make sure that I am ready to go to speak with you, ready to go to work with your kid, and ready to best serve them in whatever way they individually need to be served as well. Anytime a scholar comes and sees me for a voice coaching or for a tutorial, they will get extra credit, agency points as well. So that's a strong recommendation if they're concerned about their grade or if they would just like to get better at the craft of singing. We have 3 operas throughout the year. Our first one is usually coming up in November. I generally open this up to families that are at the parent meeting first. We do have limited chaperone spots for these operas. We cannot take more than 10 chaperones, and one of those has to be me. So in order to sign up as a chaperone, I need an email from you letting me know that you plan to chaperone the opera, and I will let you know in return if you were one of the first 10 parents for that opera. Our choir website is tiny.cc/ntmschoir. Maybe by the time that you're seeing this, it's gladiatorchoir.com. That's a long-term goal of mine. So maybe we've arrived. I'm not sure. This website is designed to be a one-stop shop for choir parents. It should have anything you need, and scholars as well. It's got links to Charms. It's got a link to Echo, where you can see not only their grade in my class and work on assignments for my class, but also all of their classes at New Tech Middle School. Right here, there's information, the calendar sync instructions. There's a place you can register as a chaperone. You can see our updated choir calendar. It is up to date on this website at all times. It's also here in a different format. You can sign up again to see me, or your kids can sign up to see me. There is a parent page that has our handbook. It also has a way to fill out the choir forms online, which is our preferred method. We like to save those trees. So you'll see the handbook will load here, as well as the choir contract. You can also open those in separate windows. There's even another link to Charms and another link to register as a chaperone. There's also a super fun media page where you can see places that our kids have been featured, including the Manor Community News at the time that this video was recorded. You can see pictures from throughout the year. And the kiddos can also log in and see pictures from past years. Internet's running a little bit slow this morning. There's also a fun little listen to us link where I upload exemplary recordings from competitions as well. Hopefully this was informative and If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me. Feel free to sign up for a phone conference. And I look so forward to working with your scholars and all of the Gladiator choirs this year.